Hey guys, this is DFD, aka Dark Frozen Depths, with another little event video. Now, here's the whole thing about this. It's another union event, so unfortunately, if you're in a union that isn't too active, you're stuck with them. Because as far as I know, you can't leave the union that you're in, but you can join another one if you're not already in one. I'm not sure if they can scout you though, so I just don't remember full details, but I know for a fact you can't leave the union you're in, so you hope they're a pretty active union. Otherwise, you're going to have difficulty trying to get some things. Now, here's a whole thing about this event as well. Because it's a repeat, all union events are going to be at this point. Naturally, you may have copies of the Loom or whatever. The Loom is horrible to use as a main slot, even as a newer player. Just go farm the Dark Disaster or whatever disaster matches the Loom, and there you go. Now, there is a Phantom Loom, but you don't really need to worry about that one. But that's the whole thing. When it comes to the Williams, they are not designed for main slots. Their effect might look good on paper, but it's really horrible. Because 3 people are getting a big boost. And that's the whole thing. In fact, I think you need all 5 to get the biggest boost of all. You need like 5 different elements in order to get the biggest boost. I'm not sure. But that's the whole thing with this. It's not good, period. If you are going to use them, put them in a sub slot. I mean, there are add-ons that probably could fill those sub slots better, but there's a reason why I'm saying that. We'll get to it later. But at the very least, if you truly feel like you do not need the loam anymore, save it until we get the add-on shop. The add-on orb shop, because that's going to get implemented soon. I don't know if it's this event, but when you do, all the add-ons that are R rarity, I do believe, and above, they will give you orbs, and you can use those in order to spend for other stuff, which includes the Kaiser Dragoons. They are pretty much the second most valued add-on in the game. Well, set of add-ons in the game. The first being, of course, the 100% ones, and more on that later as well. But the add-on orb shop is the reason why you might want to hold on to every single event add-on you get now. There's no waste of priority, even if you aren't using them anymore. But, of course, naturally, there's a pride weapon in here, too. So if you haven't gotten it, by all means, get it. If you have gotten it, you may or may not want a second one. I don't know. They do act like small assault and give a bonus effect based on your HP, but that bonus effect is situational, so in very short fights where you're not losing much HP, you can get better stuff. But that's the whole thing with this. And naturally, because it's a union event, there's grails that you can grind for as well to apply for effects. I've heard mixed things about all this stuff, but the thing about this is the fact that universally, attack power and HP is definitely highly valued. Those should always be level 100 no matter what. You practically double your HP and double your attack power. So, go for them. Now, in the case of recovery, it's another very good one to get. If you need it. If you have no healers, and your other union members have no healers, recovery is useless for you. But granted, most people in the game probably have soul or want to get her or went after her or something. So recovery should help you. Even then, there's a lot of light characters that can heal. So recovery should help you. But recovery is something you may or may not want to max out. I mean, 50 grails into it is actually pretty substantial right there, because you get a 75% increase in healing. So, it's not too bad, but who knows. You don't want the resistance towards debuffs. You don't want that at all. The only one that can do that is the Liliums in this fight. Like, the only one that can do that is the Lilium in this fight, and Grails aren't in effect then. So, it's totally useless. Now, the thing that increases your chances of putting debuffs on an enemy, you might want it. However, it's not really needed and it's not really important, especially if you're using Mordred. So, yeah, that one's low priority as well. Burst damage is also low priority because the thing is, it adds 1.5% to the total. So, say for instance, you have a 5 times multiplier or 500% with an SSR. Well, that 1.5 now makes it 501.5. So it really ends up giving you 6.5 times at the most, instead of taking that 500% and multiplying it by 1.5. It's not that great of an increase. And plus, if you're using Shingen, I know I'll get her in this event because I finally should be able to get enough Holy Soul points to have her. If you have Shingen, she's going to easily override this burst damage buff. The only reason why you might want to get it is just for burst time. So it's also low priority. Now, here's where we get something interesting. The 2-stage and a 3-stage attack. In other words, double and triple. Triple is always good to get, but it's only 10% at max. So you're only getting a 0.1% increase per Grail. So if you're going to get it, go all the way. 10% chance to do triple is actually pretty good. Now, double, it's a 2.5 per Grail. So 25% chance to get all the way. So that's also good. But here's a catch. While you might get a 25% chance for double and a 10% chance for triple, triple is not checked before double. It's the other way around. What this means is, if double attack triggers, triple will not. So anybody that has, say, like, it's kind of weird, because with Cybele, she forces nothing but double and triple attack. But if you're using a character, say, that has a buff that forces double attack, they probably won't do triple. So that's the whole thing with that. Double is checked before triple. So if double goes off, you're not going to see triple. That's how they calculate it. So that can be very, very bad in cases where you got a lot more double attack increase compared to triple. So double attack is situational. It is good, but it's still situational. The triple attack is definitely one you can go for without a doubt. So that's how that is. Anyways, dealing with the battles too. The Willem fights, 700,000 HP on standard, pretty much 2.5 million on expert. She has defense down that she can debuff you with, so you might want something to remove that. I don't know, because if you're strong enough, you can just outright smash her before it becomes a problem. I'm pretty much at the point where I probably don't even need to heal for the Willem fights anymore, because I've been playing since the game came out. But anyways, another little catch about the Willem fights. Now, I don't know if you know this trick, but every Union member that participates in that battle should be getting rewarded with Grails. Every person that participates should be getting rewarded with Grails. So if you actually do want to maximize your grinding for it, only give the support request to your Union members and have everybody that possibly can in the Union get an attack off at one time in the fight. That will give you a ton of Grails very, very quickly, depending on how many people's in the fight. It should give you a lot of Grails very easily. Now, in the case of the demon battle, Envy, she can clear her debuffs under Raging. That's what makes Raging Charge worse than normal. Normal is just a buff. But Raging is guaranteed to hit everybody for one. And two, is the simple fact that when it comes to getting your debuffs cleared. That is a problem because, first and foremost, defense debuffs is going to give you quite a bit of your damage output. Anything that lowers the defense of an enemy, that can give you a lot of your damage output, because if you can stack it to 50% like I can, because I'd have to use sniper shots, the light Tsukiyomi, Diana, like I would have to try and get them to boost it up to a grand total of 50%. That's double damage when it's at 50% defense drop. But when it comes to, say, stuff like your own buffs, it can also benefit way more with the defense drop as well. Sorry about that. But that's the whole thing. Debuff removal will clear all of it. All of it. And I do believe she's got the capability, because it says whole buff clear on the Raging Charge for Expert. Meaning it might wipe your buffs as well, which is actually worse than the ultimate one. But she's got the ability to clear buffs and clear debuffs. So you really want to keep her out of Raging. And you have to pay attention. Say for instance you're in a fight with the demon battle and you have Union members in there. If you know the boss is about to do the Raging Nuke, just wait. Just wait. If others can knock her out of Raging before your next turn, then you try to attack. Try to keep her from doing that Rage Nuke as much as possible. Because then you'll start seeing things get a little bit out of hand. Your damage might drop, or you might suddenly lose a buff that can help you deal with certain skills or give you your healing back or something. Just don't go through it. Keep her out of Raging. And if you can't, keep her from doing her Raging Charge. Simple as that. But yeah, they get more HP based on how many times you killed them too. Which is also another thing too, when we get down to the rewards. I'm not really going to go too much into the rewards for getting Expert ultimate kills, Union points, and all that. I'm not going to go too much into that because that's the same typical stuff. You do it, you'll get your SSR stuff, you'll get your Grails, you'll get your gems, you'll get your magic jewels, you'll eventually get Dragonic Eye Shards. You'll get books for break limiting and everything. That's your same usual typical stuff. I don't really need to keep going over that. If you really are curious about what's on the list, you can check it in game. They might give accessories though. I'm not sure if they started implementing that or not, so keep that in mind, but you gotta get pretty high on some of the rankings to get those. However, I mean, not how in the rankings, how in the reward list, but however, when it comes to ranking, which is a big thing, it's based on how much you do in that day. So, the ranking is more record setting. If you get 1 million participation points in one day, that's your record. If you get more than that in another day, that will then become your record. So if you get 1 million in one day and then get 2 million in another day, 2 million is your record, not 3 million. So you need to do as much as you can in one day. It's also the same thing for Expert and Ultimate kills. Don't forget about Expert kills. You want to step and just grind out Expert now. They give you a reason to. Thing about this is the fact that you want to try and get Grails all throughout the event to try and increase your output, sure. If you're getting 400 a day, don't worry about this. But if you're not getting 400 Grails a day, then it's possible you might want to save up Grails for a day when you have the most Union members. So talk it out with your Union, trying to figure out when they're going to be able to log on or whatever. Because the thing is, the better you do in the rankings, the more rewards you get, obviously. But there's a very powerful amount of rewards. If I'm looking at this right, on the 1st to 5th ranks, you can get, if you can get 1st to 5th rank on all 3 reward lists, that is 5,000 magic jewels. And then to add on to the fact you get 15 R Grails, 5 SR Grails, and 15 Dragonic Eye Shards. This is the reason why you want to do the rankings. Because even if you don't get that high, you can still get a nice chunk of Magic Jewels and Dragonic Eye Shards. Dragonic Eye Shards are very, very hard to get in this game. Sure, events can hand them out, but if you are not doing good in events, you have to grind the the weekly quest, and that is like 1 per week. Assume you can't get no Dragonic Eye Shards from anything else. That means if you want to awaken an SSR Kamihime you might have gotten lucky on pulling, that will take you 30 weeks. Get as many Dragonic Eye Shards as you can. Believe me on that one. If you manage to pull Dragonic Eyes, it's not a bad thing. Sure, you might be hoping for getting a new Kamihime or something like that. There's been times where I've been like that too. But it's not a bad thing getting a Dragonic Eye. Because even if you're not awakening Kamihime, later on we'll get more and more stuff to use those Dragonic Eyes on. If you somehow, and I've confirmed this, but later on at a point there's going to be a miracle ticket in that Dragonic Eye trade thing. But you need a whopping 150 Dragonic Eyes. So if you somehow manage to rack it up, because I've heard DMM players that haven't even spent money on a game have somehow racked up that many, and these events are a good way to do it too, if you can get high ranks on ultimate kills. But somehow, some way, if you can get 150 Dragonic Eyes, this miracle ticket not only lets you pick any Kamihime you want, but also any Idon you want. I don't think it will be the limited ones like Cow, aka Karen from the Koihime crossover, or a character like Summer Soul. But the thing is, any Idon you want, that's a ticket to 100% Idon if you somehow have not gotten one, or if you still need to get her up. So yeah, Dragonic Eyes, rack them up. Rack up as many shards as you can get. They are never a bad thing. I could say the same with the Magic Jewels, because it's still free pulls at the very least, but in my case, I don't have all my inventory expansions, so they could still be used for that. Just never ever use them for elixirs and energy leaves. These union events hand you energy leaves. The other raid events can hand you energy seeds. I do believe all events can hand you half elixirs. But you can still get half elixirs from the gem gacha. And gee, guess what? You get a lot of gems from this event. So, yeah, you don't need to use Magic Jewels on anything but inventory expansions and gacha pulls. Don't use them for anything else. But you can get a lot of them from this. Last but not least about this event, I say about this event because I'm going to jump into other stuff. You can get a lot of grails. You can get a lot of grails. I'm not kidding on that. The last time I've done one of these events, I've gotten pages of grails. Not one page, pages. So this is very good for skill leveling. Naturally, you'll get the Willem. Their stats are low, but they still can work in sub-slots because of their buff. Or in situations where you might, like, we've already gotten event Idolans where they give more power based on how many matching element you have. Willems can help fill that. So for instance, we had Andromelech, which I think was a 50% Idolan. I'm not sure. No, she's 45. Ilyanka, that was the one. If you have the Water Willem, then put her in a sub-slot. Ilyanka suddenly given a little bit more power just for having her in there. And if you got other Water Idolans, toss them in as well. So this might be the one time you might be seeing SR ones in your sub-slots just to try and get more output. I don't know. But that's the whole thing. When it comes to the Pride Weapon, I've already mentioned that. But there's, at some point, Guild Order. It's coming pretty soon from what I'm hearing. That's where you'll start seeing this extra stuff here in the blue letters, where it's got the final limit break things. If you can somehow get some, or a child comes from the Guild Order and actually get final breaks, these weapons start becoming rather decent. Others become insanely broken. So that's a big thing about that, but they do get some very huge stat boosts. Like the Pride weapon for this event will eventually get a medium defender attached to the Pride effect. So you, in a sense, have a dual weapon where it is, at the very least, a small assault and a medium defender. That's still very, very good. And then we might get this hammer too. I'm not sure. We started getting 2 SSR in some events, so I'm hoping we get this hammer because this hammer is pretty good. It's not only got a high amount of attack power, but it also has a large assault. And when final breaks happen, it also increases the burst damage you do. So this is a very good weapon. I hope it's in there. You're probably not going to worry too much about the SR weapons. They'll just be skill enhanced fodder because I don't see any assault for those. But that SSR hammer, I hope we get it. Simple as that. But anyways, more on the thing I just mentioned about getting matching element at Dolan's, because I hope this one comes out. I'm not sure she does. But we should be getting the light 100% at Dolan, but there's a catch to how she works. It's going to end up being an 80% increase as is, regardless of how much you break her. So if you manage to get her to level 100, you still get 80% no matter what. You get extra boost, up to 100% with no breaks, and up to 120% with full breaks. That is based on how many Adolans match her element. So in this case, she's light. So I have Hecatonchires, I have the Light Willem, I have crap, I can't think of her name. She's from the winter event. St. Nicholas. That's extra power that you can give. I have I forgot what the light one we just recently had was, but yeah. But that's the thing. They build up more power when you get matching elements. This is time where your Eidolon grid might need to start matching the element of your main as well. Because even if you don't have her, we're starting to get events where we're starting to have Eidolons to do that. Like I said, Ilionkas was the first one to do it for the events. So this is a very good Eidolon, of course, because even the mere 80% is a strong boost. Don't be wrong about that one. But the simple fact that you can get 100% Eidolons, they snap the game in half if you manage to get one. They really do. They're that strong. If you have one, you got a nice amount of power. Friend lists tend to have them a lot more lately. If you have one of your set in your main slots, and then you have a friend with it, then you pretty much got triple damage. Just from that. Yeah, that's powerful. I'm not saying to pull very, very hard for her because you may not have the resources. I probably could have if I didn't need my money for other stuff. But believe me when I say this. If you get her, you're very lucky. Because I've also heard that the rate of pulling these things is lower than normal. Also with the Kaiser Dragoons as well. So, that's it, and that's why I'm glad the Eidolon Orb thing gives you a Kaiser Dragoon of each element if you grind enough. Because all you need to do is sell off event Eidolons for them. But anyways, if you manage to get one of these, you are very lucky, and you're in a very good situation. My light team is my strongest, but I don't have one of the super massive overpowered gacha Eidolons to really boost their elemental attack. So, I'm stuck using event ones. That said, if I manage to pull her, my light team is hands down my best team. Period. I can make others get stronger because I do have a maxed out echidna that will sit and give fire and darkness 60% elemental attack. This one gives you 100% elemental attack. So yeah, I cannot stress this enough. I'm even talking gibberish now. But if you get any 100% Eidolon, consider yourself very lucky. But that's all I got to say for this. And she also has the side effect, if you manage to get her, of increasing multiple attacks. It says successive, so I'm thinking it might increase both double and triple, but I'm not sure. They usually pinpoint when it just does double or just does triple. But yeah, she's very good. She's very, very, very good. But that said, if you happen to get her, then by all means, try to get her powered up and just in your team. In fact, they have the little tables for what works with this one, because she's not going to be the only one to do it. We'll have a dark one that does it eventually, you know, and then later on they'll start doing it with the other elements too, but they'll be higher amounts because they already got 100% Adolins. As you can see, no matter how many times you've gotten her limit breaking, like this is level 40 basically, no breaks, 1 break, 2, 3, and then the level 100, which is 4. If you don't have any other white Adolins, you're getting 80%, no matter how far you break her. But when you have others, that's when it starts increasing more and more each time you stick another one in there. So that said, you might want to start matching Adolins now, because we're starting to get very good gacha ones that do it. We're starting to get events that do it. So consider getting Adolins even if they have crappy effects, because you might want to still get them to match off. But anyways, that's all I got for this, guys. This has been a long video. Of course, you're going to see more of this event because I'm going to re-record me possibly soloing it, because I can still play at times where there isn't union members on, sadly. But anyways, that's all I got for this, guys. And naturally, I'm going to do another pool video. I said I don't have the money to go hard on her, but it doesn't mean I don't have the money to pull at all. I'm going to get the SSR guarantee tickets and maybe something else depending on what else they add. I still got to check the game after they finally get the maintenance over. But anyways, in fact, I could probably check and see right now if the game is up and running. Yes, it is, in fact. So, yeah, there's going to be another video to pop up, and yeah, guess what? She's here. She's here. I confirmed it just now. So, yeah, this is another reason why I kind of also wanted to stay on, because they usually do some updates. It's saying that, that there's use of external tools on multi-windows that are prohibited use. So, yeah, you might want to be careful if you're doing that. I don't know if recordings counted as an external tool. I hope not, because recording shouldn't do anything. But, yeah, that's the whole thing with that. They added the 100% Adolin, thankfully. They added some new Kamihime. There's some new boosts and everything. The limited Adolins, the limited Kami is gone. But they got white boosted gachas, of course. They got an accessory one, too. The limited Kamihime is gone. If you didn't get them, oh well, too bad. That's all I can say. Too bad. But, anyways, and they give you a lot of brick materials for that white gacha too, what I'm seeing on the side. Anyways, you have this video to try and prepare if you haven't already. White element is definitely the best one to go for, but since there's no chance of you getting boosted power due to weaknesses, boosted damage due to weaknesses, use whoever you can. White is still the one to mainly use because you know weakness boost. But naturally, collect all this stuff, try to do the best you can for your union, try to get as many of those Dragonic Eye Shards and Magic Jewels as you can. But I'm going to start trying to record this new gacha video coming up. I'm not even going to kill this. I'm going to kill this video right here, and I'm not going to try and combine them. But that's all for now, guys. Take care.